It's been a year since the death of Eldorado Park teen Nathaniel Julies. 3 police officers have been charged over the killing of the 16-year-old, and they are currently out on bail. They are expected back in court in October. eNCA senior journalist Aviwe Mtila is there in Eldorado Park and joins me now for that conversation. Aviwe, so a full year. What is the family reflecting on, and how do you find them a year later since the killing of Nathaniel Julies and the snail pace evolution of the court case?
Well, it's not only the family that shared fond memories, but the community of Eldorado Park as a whole, sharing fond memories of Lokkies, as he was fondly known here, the Down syndrome 16-year-old teen who loved his biscuit. Coincidentally, a year ago exactly, it was about 9 p.m. when he was gunned down just at this very spot, at this truck here, bullet taking him underneath the truck, essentially where the police, we understand, dragged him out. Took his lifeless body, put it inside the van and drove off to Baragwanath Hospital. The commemorations here were quite short, but very heartfelt and heartwarm. And this stone being unveiled here, which states that uniting communities in a quest for social justice. Of course, fond memories of Lokkies, which you understand that incident happened around 9 o'clock in the evening. He was going to go and buy biscuits, but just to catch up now, to get a better understanding, I'm joined by Petunia, who's the older sister, one of the 7 siblings left behind by Nathaniel Julies. Joining us, Petunia, but it's been a year. How's the family doing? More importantly, you guys as siblings.
Us as siblings, we're not doing good at all. We do things based in every day. We do things to keep us going, to keep us happy, but we're not feeling well at the moment, because it's like it happened today. It's like it happened today. Yeah. It's so far, but for us it feels like it happened today. We are so broken, me, my family, everyone, but people come over to make us happy, to give us that, to go on, but we are not.
Still fresh off the mind, of course, understandably so, but we've been speaking to a lot of people, speaking about Lokkies and the person who liked biscuits. I want to share maybe some of your memories. What will you remember about Nathaniel Julies?
I remember me taking him to school now and then, go and fetch him at school, being with him, spending time with him. Nathaniel loved to play, to dance, so I'm gonna miss that a lot of him. He was a joyful person. He was always happy. People could walk past our gate and greet him. He will greet them more than 10 times. That was the type of person he was.
A very joyful person, as we've come to understand. And it's so sad that this happened mere meters away from your home. Has anything changed when it comes to the police treatment and the community members of Eldorado Park?
For me, nothing has changed, because why? Those people didn't even deserve bail, and now they're out on bail. They didn't even deserve it, because it's them, and they confess that it's them that killed my brother. So for me, they don't deserve bail.
Okay, thank you very much. Petunia Julies there saying that the 3 officers charged of the murder of Nathaniel Julies do not deserve bail. A similar sentiment shared by Nathaniel's mother, Bridget Harris. You'd understand that the first officer, accused number 3, Foster Nachiongolo, was out in December, already gotten bail, and the other 2, accused number 1 and 2, Simon Scorpion Jalivana, as well as Kayleen Whiteboy, the 23-year-old female officer, which we do understand is the one that pulled the trigger, is also out on bail. Both of them being out, we understand, in July. Remember that in those bail applications, the conversations that we heard there, suggestions that Kayleen didn't know that she was using live ammunition at that time, because she had used that shotgun earlier where it was loaded with rubber bullets. But then she said in those affidavits, in her bail application, that unknowingly to her, that ammunition was changed to live bullets. And that's the incident that happened behind me at around 9 o'clock, where she is the one pulled that trigger. Of course, they're out on bail now, with that matter appearing on the 4th of October for trial.
Sure. Aviwe, you were there a year ago when, the community anger was palpable and justifiably so. I mean, this was one of those situations where you could tell that this was justified anger on the part of the community. They were asking serious questions about the role of police in the community, as well as various other stakeholders, government, in dealing with some of the social ills that do plague Eldorado Park. A year later, what has the tone of the conversation changed in any way, signaling that perhaps the promises and undertakings that were made by various role players are being followed through?
In fact, Petunia is reiterating some conversation that I've had with some of the communities here, saying that not much has changed. You remember a year ago when we covered this gruesome story, I had plenty of conversations with community members who were detailing just over the last 20 years. I remember how the police and the relationship between the police here and the community in itself, how brutal it was, and how a lot of it was blamed to gangsterism. I remember just after Nathaniel Julies' death, Premier David Makura suggesting that he died, lost his life because of a battle between the gang and the police. But it came to light. I remember even in the funeral, some saying that it was lucky that Nathaniel had Down syndrome, because then that question of gangsterism was out of the question. Nathaniel was merely going to buy a biscuit at a shop when this incident happened, and he had Down syndrome, so he could not have placed him in any gang. Of course, that came out to be cleared. Coincidentally, what is happening today, Bratulas, is that 6 youngsters, are actually appearing in court for the protests that ensued, which we covered extensively after Nathaniel's death. They're appearing still with the matter being postponed. They now call themselves the Abandoned Eldorado 6, who are still appearing for those protests that happened in the name of Nathaniel Julies.
All right, thank you for that update there. That's eNCA's Aviwe Mtila out in Eldorado Park.